Welcome to the most must-see podcast in the history of man. Welcome to
Leftover Pants Podcast.
That's
Number
correct.
18.
We're
I feel like I say this all the time. Yeah, we're legal now.
Yeah.
I feel like I say this all the time, but it has been a long time since we've been doing this. It's the holidays, the fucking...
Retail apocalypse is...
Yeah, the fall gaming onslaught of 2017 is over for the most part. We'll get to that in a second. Today, as long as everybody can stay, we're going to go really in depth. If it's good with you.
Of course.
We're going to have a good episode. We got a QUIZTACULAR at the end. We're going to update you on what's been going on in our gaming lives. Matt, Justin, Teddy. Let me get that back up. Okay. So, I'm out of practice here. Teddy, let's start with you. What's been going on, pal, in your life and in your gaming spare time?
Oh, man. You know, running the shop has been such a drag. Now we're into the holiday season, so I've been there pretty much 15 hours a day now.
I've noticed.
But prior to Thanksgiving, I actually took a little time off and just, you know, tried to enjoy life for a little bit before I got into this grind. So I did play a little video games.
Mm-hmm. What'd you play?
I played Lego Marvel, the second one.
Okay, how was it?
Superheroes too?
It was pretty good, I'm not going to lie. It was a pleasant experience. I got maybe 2 hours in. I also played Uncharted Lost Legacy since it went on sale. Finally, I had time to play that. And I'm 3 chapters in, and you know what? It's a pretty cool story. I don't know if you guys played it.
Uncharted's always great.
Yeah, I haven't played Lost Legacy, no.
I think it's
I haven't
totally
even
worth
played
it.
Thief's End.
On sale for $20. Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No excuse, it's like $8.
Oh, so, true factoid. I never played Mario 64, since we're going into never played. I don't know if that revokes my gaming card, but yes.
A little bit.
As you can see, Goldilocks just dropped his chin on that.
It's alright.
Okay. But,
It'd be different if you've never played Super Mario World, or, you know, like Super Mario Galaxy, but...
I never beat Super
true factoid number 2, I never played Super Mario Galaxy.
God damn it, get the fuck out. You're fired. Dave, we're hiring the new spot.
But, no. That's all, you know. I've been, super busy, guys. But I try to stay active.
We're going to talk about Black Friday after and our Black Friday experiences and our Black Friday purchases, but
Yes.
it was pretty cool. Added to the Black Friday experience in Plattsburgh, New York, which I go to every year.
Me too.
That when we walked in and pleasant surprise that China Cafe was open and got my China Cafe fix with my friend Shannon before
Diving back out there.
the incredibly, well, let's just dive into it for a minute. Black Friday was so pleasant and easygoing, and it was busy as shit, but I mean,
So
like,
weird.
people were so nice, and like, everybody's like holding doors for each other, and like, it was kind of warm out too, uncharacteristically warm for this time of year.
Because it started on Thanksgiving, so everybody was like,
Yeah.
had to be nice.
Yeah, they staggered
A little bit.
well, they staggered okay, a
Start
couple
times.
years ago, everything just opened at midnight. And it was always hellish, especially in Plattsburgh, like everywhere else. It was crazy trying to get into all the stores. Target's line would go all the way around the store, back to China Cafe, pretty much.
Yep.
And you had to pick and choose where you wanted to go first. People would fight over items, just like everywhere else in the world, in the country. Nowhere else, just here. But dude, like, I had such a pleasant experience, and like, everybody was nice, and like, I went to Best Buy. Props to Best Buy. Remember, I was pissed about Best Buy a couple weeks ago because they didn't know what the fuck
Capture card.
a capture card was. Nobody did, and nobody seemed to know what customer service was either. So, but that's okay because they redeemed themselves. And I'm waiting in line, and the line literally wrapped all the way around Best Buy, all the way through the TV section, all the way to the front door.
Mm-hmm.
And we got in there just in time. I got stuff. Just in case my wife's watching, I can't tell her what her Christmas present is. We got different things, and they started closing off the door. They're like, we're filled to capacity, no more people in, we gotta wait. So I'm thinking like, fuck, this is gonna be like a 3 or 4 hour wait, because that's what it usually is when the line is that long. And we get about halfway through, and like Best Buy employees start coming through with handheld point of sale machines.
Oh, yeah.
With credit card machines in them, just like little
And
tablets.
their phones and tablets.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, if you're using a card, like, we can kind of cash you out now. And I'm like, holy shit, that would be wonderful. And, like, everybody was just so pleasant. I don't know. I just wanted to
But you know what? That's
have a
how it
little
should
blurb
be.
on that. Yeah.
That's how it should be, especially when you're expecting the onslaught like that. Like, I don't know if you guys have been into Apple stores,
Yeah.
but the official Apple stores, every person on the floor literally has an iPhone
Yeah.
with the card reader.
Yeah.
So that they can they can easily impulse you on a product. I don't know if they train you, I'm sure they train you that in sales.
Yeah.
And as soon as you see the impulse, like I've taken a lot of sales classes, I've done a lot of sales throughout the years. As soon as you can impulse them, as soon as they're ready to drop that card on you, you have to be ready to
You gotta
swipe.
be ready.
You know,
Don't let
it's
them walk
just,
away.
it's just about making a sale. It's just business. It's nothing personal. You know, they do it for your convenience too. It's not just about them trying to make a sale out of you. It's them pretty much saying, "Oh, you want this? Okay, we can do this right now. We can do this right now." And that's how it should be, in my
I agree.
opinion.
And the attitude was just really cool, like everywhere. I picked Best Buy out of the hat. English is not my strong suit today. At least once every episode I have to trip over my words. But no, I picked Best Buy because that was super cool. They saved us a lot of time, but like everywhere was cool. Like I was kind of disappointed that I'm not calling out the mall or anything because they got to do their own thing. But like Target and Best Buy didn't have their doors open on the inside of the mall, so a lot of people didn't even know that you and Sbarro were open.
I'm not a fan of that.
That sucks, man. Like honestly, like it's probably more of a theft issue, and they just don't want people walking out the door with all kinds of shit. But
Well, it's also a crowd control issue.
yeah,
That's all.
I know. I understand it. It
why
still
they do
sucks
it. Yeah,
though.
it still sucks.
Because like we get in there and like we're like, holy shit, they're open. And like you had some good business going, but at the same time, like it could have been
It probably could have been better.
busier. Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
We'll get to Black Friday after, but real quick, Matt, what else? What's been going on with you, and what have you been playing?
So, I worked on Thanksgiving this year, so I worked 6 to 10 on Thanksgiving, and GameStop was running their Black Friday sales like
Wait,
Thursday
did you guys
and Friday.
close at 10?
We closed at 10 on Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Or, yeah, we closed at 10, and yeah, we were supposed to be at the door by 11. And then I went in on Black Friday at 5:30 in the morning, and I worked till 2:30.
Oof.
So, you know, that's what it was. But Thursday night, I bought a PlayStation VR Skyrim bundle. And it was on sale for $350, down from $450.
Yep.
So I figured it'd be a good bundle. You know, I'm not a true believer in PSVR yet. You know, I've only played Skyrim on it. But from what I've been playing, it's been good. I genuinely think it's a different and valuable experience to have and to experience. That's about it right now. Again, just have played Skyrim. And then Steam had a sale going on. Wolfenstein 2 was $30. I took advantage of it.
That's the latest.
We're gonna talk about that after
Yeah,
too.
it just came out the end of last
Wow.
month. So I got it for $30 on Steam.
Very nice. Good
Except,
start.
I do want to call Bethesda out a little bit on this one. Please, I don't know what it is about developers specifically engineering their games for certain graphics cards. So, like, they'll have a preference. You can usually tell what that preference is as soon as the game starts up because it'll say AMD Radeon right at the beginning, or it will say NVIDIA. And it said AMD at the very beginning, and I had terrible crashing issues and frame rate plummets and fucking literal KOs of frame rate just hitting the floor and then going right back up. So it's been a little rocky. I didn't do a Steam return or anything like that, but just like, what the fuck, Bethesda, seriously. Or Machine Games, but it was probably Bethesda that pushed that. But just wanted to note that. So if you're buying Wolfenstein 2 on PC and you don't have a Radeon card, just do a little bit of double checking. That's all I gotta
There's Matt's call out of the episode.
say. Yeah. I have to do at least one.
Yeah.
At
I love
least
it.
one.
That's a plus. That's a plus because we're still recording the podcast. We just started. Matt, did you have anything else to add about?
Black Friday?
Yes.
Honestly, no.
Okay.
Other than Wolfenstein and PSVR, that was my Black Friday.
So I'm gonna wear this for the rest of the podcast. I got a story for you.
Yeah.
And I've held this back because I haven't seen you guys.
We have no inclination as to what's going to happen, right?
So,
I'm excited.
it's been no secret that I missed out on a couple of the games. Like, sometimes I can wait a couple months if I'm not, like, really excited about a game coming out. Or if I just don't have the money, because, like, around this time of year, a lot comes out. So I've missed some things this year, like Crash Bandicoot, the Insane Collection.
Oh, that's what I forgot to buy.
Or Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Or, well, okay, here's what happened. So Matt and I are chit-chatting at work the other day, and he's like, hey, got my bonus check. What about you? And I'm like, I'm kind of new, I don't think I have a bonus check.
No.
Then somebody literally comes by and gives me a bonus check, and I'm like, oh shit, I got a bonus check right before Black Friday. So now I can buy everything that I want to buy for myself, because that's the spirit of the holidays, right? So I bought... Mel usually doesn't make it very far into the podcast. Although that last time that I said, she doesn't fucking watch it. Yeah, she totally watched it. So I bought a lot of games. Okay, so this is what I bought. Are you ready?
Okay.
So the reason why I have more Xbox games... Okay, the Xbox One X came out the other day, which is fucking awesome, and we can talk about after if we want.
The other day, also known as, like, 2 weeks
Well,
ago.
it's been a while since we recorded. But, so I needed to catch up on Xbox stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go, okay? So, even though I've already platinumed Fallout 4, I got the Game of the Year edition on Xbox. That's one, okay? I got Halo Wars 2. That's 2.
You know, I was going to make a snarky comment about Fallout 4, but I just bought Skyrim twice.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
can't
I
say
was
that.
gonna say I try not to double dip.
I got Mass Effect Andromeda, because it was
I like
cheap.
quadruple
Yeah.
dip.
Okay,
No,
stick with me. Stick with me. Mass Effect Andromeda.
Was that on sale? Like,
Yeah, it's $15.
wow.
Stardew Valley, which I had on PC, but now I have on Xbox.
Yeah, buddy!
Right. Get that 4K fucking Stardew Valley shit. No, Super Lucky's Tale, which, by the way, okay, so we're up to 5 right now. Not bad. Not fucking bad. Have you played it?
No, there's been a lot of hype behind it though.
Dude, well, it's a budget title, and it's the sequel to the, not Vive, but the Oculus Rift game. The game that was bundled with the Oculus Rift when it came out. Dude, not bad. Like, everybody talks about the camera issues and stuff. There's not camera issues. Like, it's actually very structured. I'm not going to go into a whole fucking thing about Super Lucky's Tale, but it's not bad.
Budget title, like, well, how much was this?
It's 30, but I got it for like 15
Oh wow.
because it's Black Friday.
This is all physical, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I only get physical if I can help it. Then I got, which I've already platinumed them, but now on Xbox I got The Walking Dead Season 1, The Walking Dead Season 2, The Walking Dead Season 3.
Oh my goodness.
Ready for The Walking Dead Season 4.
Apparently.
Then I got The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, the complete edition.
Damn.
Game of the Year edition.
Good fucking pickup,
Because my buddy Eric, if he still watches this fucking podcast, has been telling me for years to get it.
It's a time sink.
And I already had them on PlayStation, but I got Wolfenstein The New Order and Wolfenstein The Old Blood and Wolfenstein 2 The New Colossus, which I've started and enjoy it very much.
Wolfenstein 2 is fucking legit, dude. It's good.
It is legit. I've got concerns about it though. We can talk about that after.
Ooh, does it have issues on Xbox?
No, not at all. No performance issues.
Oh, okay.
Just the level design. How far did you get?
Better question, how far did you get?
I got to New York.
You got to New York.
The
Okay.
fucking New York levels are bullshit.
Okay, I'm past New York.
You can't fucking tell where you're going. The waypoint stays on the... If you press it's either up or down on the D-pad. Down, I think. If you press down on the D-pad, even if it's behind you, the fucking waypoint will go on for like half a second and then disappear again.
Yeah.
And the fucking levels in New York, it's not my only issue, but it's like 1990s first-person shooter design where like half the fucking buildings are dilapidated, so like you can go 3 floors up because the walls
like
fell
you're running
down.
through 15 different floors.
And they go back and forth and you can't fucking tell where you're going.
Yeah.
But whatever, it is a cool game though. The writing's fucking great and
So you're just lost.
The guns are a ton of fun.
yeah, you get fucking lost.
And the waypoint
Yeah.
stuff depending on
The upgrade system is nice, just like the last one, which is cool.
I'm not like a lot farther than that. I'm farther. It's just like I feel like I would have been a lot further in the game too if I wasn't having so many like performance issues, and I do not have like an anemic computer either. It should be able to run this game perfectly well, but I'm struggling to hit 60 FPS even on medium. So
that sucks.
It sucks. I mean, it was like I turned it up to high, and I was hitting 60 FPS, and then it would just like hit the floor, and it would stay at 30 for a little bit because VSync is trying to keep it at 30 or 60. So it would hit the floor, so it would go to 30. It's recording.
Okay.
So it hit the floor, it's going to at 30, and then it would shoot right back up to 60, and then it hit the floor again.
It's not acceptable.
Yeah, it's not typical like performance issues. It's literally just.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty disappointed with the PC port though.
On the X, that is one game that was specifically engineered to like take advantage, not like retroactively.
Yeah.
Because there are some games that retroactively, like Halo 5 looks great on the X, but it's a 2-year-old game. Fucking Wolfenstein, and like I was saying before we started recording, Assassin's Creed Origins looks crazy fucking good. Like, I don't have an anemic fucking PC either, but yours is a little bit beefier than mine is, but I can run a lot on fucking Ultra and it'll be totally fine, not have fucking performance issues at all. Assassin's Creed was not one of them, and that's Ubisoft's fault. Because none of them run well on PC, to be honest. But to go from Assassin's Creed Unity 3 years ago on PS4, well, it was crap on both of them, on all three platforms, from seeing all the performance issues and the resolution issues and the shitty fucking character models of all the NPCs, to go from that to fucking Origins, which I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but that's like my number 2 game of the year now. Not even fucking close. Like,
Origins.
fuck, man.
Number 2?
Fuck, man. That game is so great. And I'm a huge fan of the series, but like, the reinvention, it's a lot like The Witcher now. It's just, they took all the good things of Assassin's Creed and took all the shitty things of Assassin's Creed out. And like, the fucking fighting's all revamped. Anyway, looks great on X. Let's continue.
I need to play this though.
I got, continuing, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Hitman, I got the Steelbook edition on Xbox One. In pristine shape it was used, but it's good. And that's one that's retroactively had a 4K patch, which looks very nice. That is one game that I had problems with on my PC just because I couldn't run it on Ultra. Well, now I can on this at least, but then I got on PlayStation 4, I got Everybody's Golf, which is the reboot of Hot Shots Golf. Pretty neat. Just like Hot Shots Golf, just lots of customization. Horizon Zero Dawn, I finally fucking got it.
Me too. That's right.
Knack 2, which, by the way, not bad.
Oh.
Not bad at all.
You have to be memeing. There's no way.
Well, part of the fun of that meme is that nobody's lying about it. It's not a bad game at all. The writing still sucks. It's just like the first one. And here comes the train. But the game's not bad. Like, it's a lot of fun. It's just it's a fucking brawler, like a 90s style brawler with like some light RPG elements in it. It's not bad. And for $15, definitely not bad. Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Haven't started it yet. And then I got a couple more. I got Fable Anniversary because I found a nice, pristine 360 copy, which I never had because I never played the original. Right? Remember So, remember we've been talking about it for months. Yeah. Well, I finally fucking grabbed it. And let's be honest, 360 games aren't going to be in stores much longer, so I grabbed it when I saw it. And it's compatible with the Xbox One. For my wife, I got Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, and we played it tonight, and it's awful, but we had fun together and got lots of achievements. Then I got her Life is Strange, which I barely played, so
Excellent.
we're going to check that out. I got the limited edition of that.
Yes.
Monopoly, which I had back in the day, but now I got it again because my wife wanted it. I got my copy of Rise back for free. Got my copy of Gears of War 4 back, which I had the Ultimate Edition for, but opened it up the other day to play it on the X, and my disc was gone. So I had to rebuy Gears of War 4. And I repurchased Gears of War Ultimate Edition just to have on my shelf, because that was also free. And then, one more. Speaking of Skyrim. So I'm like, fuck, I know it's not a 4K enabled game on Xbox One X, but it definitely has a bump.
1800p.
Yeah.
In fact.
And It's a lot better than that Switch port, though. Am I right? So, he's pretending like he didn't hear that one. So what I really wanted to do is, I'm like, I'm not going to purchase this game again, because like you, I've purchased it on everything. And then I'm like, fuck, the other night, after all those games that I just bought, I'm like...
You just wanted to play fucking Skyrim.
I really just wanted to play Skyrim, and I'm like, I'm not going to play it on PlayStation. I kind of want to use my X, because I just bought the fucking X. So I'm like, fuck, I guess I'll go out and buy Skyrim. So the thing is, let's go back a little bit. Black Friday, I'm out with my friend Shannon. Best Buy has had these 4 Steelbook copies with the bundle with the Dragonborn hood and everything. They've had them sitting there since last year when the special edition came out.
I remember.
And I'm like, what are the odds that they're going to also bring those down in price? I go there as soon as Best Buy opens. They did not bring the price down. So I'm like, $60. I'm like...
That's rough.
I'm like, am I going to pay $60 for Skyrim for like the 5th time I'm buying this fucking game? I bought it on 360, PS3, PC... PS4,
and you played them on all the platforms you bought.
Oh yeah, it's just one of those games. It's really great. And I had it on. Yeah, that's it. But whatever. So I'm like, am I gonna buy? No, I'm not gonna pay $60 for it. So I put it down. I'm like, if I have money at the end of the night, I really want that Steelbook. And yeah, I could just buy the game and like order a Steelbook off Amazon or something. But I'm like, I kind of want that. So. I didn't get it. And it was, remember the Mortal Kombat comic book? You're like, we get all the way across fucking Boston, basically, and you're like, hey, you really should go back and get that comic book. Long story, inside story. So thankfully, he talked me into it, and I got the comic book, which is priceless. Well, it didn't happen that way this time. So, like...
Because I wasn't there, man.
So I put it down, and I left. We went to China Cafe, we went all over the place, went to
It was fucking gone when you got back.
So, well, we waited in line forever. And I'm like, even if I go back and get it, I can't. We Black Friday shop for 5 hours. I'm like, let's just go home. I bought 20-something games. I don't need Skyrim. So then I get up in the morning and my mom's like, hey, what do you want for Christmas? I'm like, fuck. Skyrim? I'm like, she's Black Friday shopping. I'm like, okay, Mom, there's a Steelbook copy of Skyrim. It's on the bottom shelf at Best Buy. Check this out. Ask them.
Xbox, right?
On Xbox One. They had it on both consoles though, but I wanted it on Xbox. And I'm like, yeah, just ask them. They'll know what you're talking about. It's been sitting there for a fucking year. Hopefully it's still there. And I told her, I'm like, it's on the bottom shelf if nobody knows what you're talking about, whatever. My mom goes and she texts me, and I'm in and out of sleep during the day, and she's like, it's gone. And I'm like, fuck! I didn't buy the fucking thing. So, long story short, I'm up really late last night, and I'm looking on Amazon at the prices. It's actually more expensive on Amazon, go figure. Still available. Then I'm like, I could just buy the Steelbook and go out and get the regular version. So then I checked Best Buy's website, and they're like, yeah, you can pick it up in the store. And I'm like, what do you mean, in Plattsburgh, New York? And they're like, yeah, the website's talking to me. You know, and he's like, yeah, we got some in stock. And I'm like, fuck, what do you mean you have some in stock? Like, it must be an error. So I go to fucking Plattsburgh this morning, and all 4 copies are still sitting there. And I'm like, fuck! I'm like, I have to buy, but I just spent hundreds of dollars. I'm like, I can't buy Skyrim anymore. So Mom's like, coincidentally, she calls me up, and she's like, hey, what do you want for Christmas? I'm like, Mom, it's here. It's here. She's like, I asked them. They said they didn't have it. I'm like, fuck Best Buy. You're back on my bad side. They didn't fucking know that they had Steelbook copies on both platforms. All of them were still there. They survived Black Friday. They were still sitting there. So anyways, long story short, my mom got me Skyrim, but I can't play it till Christmas. So...
Jesus fucking Christ.
That's my story.
First world problems, guys. Look at this guy.
Yeah. So, if anybody ever questions my nerd cred or my Black Friday cred...
Listen to this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Matt's eating breakfast here. We got a little cut off, technical difficulty to be expected. Here's the itinerary for tonight now that I've got my Black Friday thing in there. So,
talking about EA's disaster.
Well, yeah, okay, so here's the thing. We're going to go to our normal itinerary. We have one thing on the Girth today because it's pretty thick and juicy. Okay. It is the EA Star Wars Battlefront II fucking fiasco that we're going to talk about, and we're going to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And we're going to update the viewers and Teddy on what's going on with that. But before we get there,
Massive call out this episode.
I want to say at the end of the night, we're going to have QUIZTACULAR.
Yes.
And then I want to talk about it now for next week. We're going to have Mr. Fuller on. The doctor.
The puppet's back.
The puppet. We're going to have him on. Or next week. We went to a 2-week format, whatever. The next episode. Stick around. Next episode is going to be our Game of the Year episode. Okay? So I want you guys to bring your discussions. Bring your fucking runner-up for Game of the Year. And your arguments for it. Not your arguments for it, but bring your passionate debate for it. Like I just did off camera. For Assassin's Creed Origins, which is great. And then bring your Game of the Year. And we're going to fucking talk about them. And that's going to be the whole fucking episode. It's just Game of the Year talk, because that's what every podcast does in December. All the big games are out now. Battlefront 2 was the last one to come out. Xenoblade 2 comes out as first. But traditionally, most publications and outlets run through the first week, or the last week of November. And everything that comes out after.
Tubular Teddy Chan.
Exactly. That's why I changed your name to on there. You didn't notice that? But anyway,
I was like, huh?
Game of the Year episode next week. Stay tuned. It's going to be great. We're going to talk about it, and we're just going to celebrate the fucking year in games. And more than likely, we're going to talk a lot about Zelda. And Dave's going to talk about Horizon Zero Dawn because he's a fucking heathen.
Oh my goodness.
Just kidding, haven't played it.
I'm gonna fucking wreck Dave if that's the shit he's bringing. Oh my goodness.
This is Game of the Year, spoiler.
What a fucking tool.
I thought you were Mr. PlayStation all of a sudden.
No, I bought a fucking PSVR. It doesn't mean I'm up PlayStation's ass, though. Come on now.
Oh, so I got a story before we continue. Fuck it. We got time, right?
Do it.
That's why we're here, Justin.
Before I go to the itinerary. So I had a little... It's just a perfect storm. The Xbox One X came out. I'm very excited about it.
$500.
And then I fucking... Well, it's more or less a new console. Not really. It's the half step, but it's a big step. Anyway, perfect storm. Everybody knows I'm a pretty loyal PlayStation customer. I got 50 Platinums. Okay? Did I tell either of you guys about the fiasco I had with PlayStation customer service?
Yeah, you told me.
Which...
So... Destiny 2 came out in September. I do the fucking 1-month trial or whatever that came with the package because I'm like, I'm a PCMR guy now. I'm not going to pay for online.
For real.
You type that code in, it automatically renews you for another month. No, I take that back. It automatically puts auto-renew on.
Yes.
The end of the month comes, I'm pretty much done with Destiny. It auto-renews me for a 3-month bundle. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm like, I've been through this years ago with Sony. Called them up, they gave me a refund. So I call them up this time, they give me a refund. I'm like, hey, I don't need a refund, just switch it over to 1 month. And he's like, well, I can't do that, but I can refund you. I'm like, perfect, I'll do it myself. So the implication was there saying, I don't want to be fucking recharged. Listen, man, it's a little predatory when every time you fucking put in a trial or you buy 1 month of PlayStation Plus, it auto-renews it. So... What they did was they charged my fucking PayPal account when I had literally $10 left in my account. They fucking charged me for $10 for another month of PlayStation Plus.
Oh my fucking god.
And I'm not even playing at this point. So plus the X just came out, so fuck you. So I call them up and I'm like, hey, and now, look, man, I work customer service, I know what it's like, so I'm being respectful, I'm not being an asshole, but I'm being firm. Because I'm the customer. Listen, man, it is a little predatory. Thoughts aside, yes, you accept the terms and agreement, whatever.
They preempt you on that.
But whatever. They don't tell you straight up. They don't have a big thing that comes up that says, hey, you're being auto-renewed, like you're turning auto-renew on, you know.
Yeah, it does.
Fuck you, Teddy. So, so I call him up and I'm like, hey, I would like a refund. The guy's like, well, just so you know, it's a one-time only thing and you got refunded last month, so no. And I'm like, listen, man. I'm like, I've been refunded before. I'm going to turn it off. I'm not paying for a month of PlayStation Plus that I'm not going to use. And he's basically like holding firm and he's like, no. And I'm like, but I'm a supervisor because I need to speak to someone.
He's trying to EA you.
I'm a little pissed off right now. So, and I'm like I said, I'm being respectful. I get it.
You literally said that.
Yeah, I said I want to speak to a supervisor. And I'm being very fucking firm too, because fuck. Listen, man, I got a big PlayStation fucking lineage here. Don't fuck with me. I spent a lot of money on PlayStation stuff over the years, okay? I got a lot of platinums. I don't fuck around. You can look at my account. And I tell him that. I'm like, you can look at my account, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, there's 50 platinums on there. Is there not? And he's like, yeah, there is. Very impressive, sir, but still can't fucking read. Listen, man.
50 platinums?
I'm getting pissed off now. I'm like,
I have 57. What's that?
You have 57?
No, I'm kidding.
I was like, what? No. So,
beasted.
So I get this supervisor on the phone, and he gives me the same deal. I'm like, look, man. I'm like, I've been through this years ago. I think it was like 2013 when the PS4 first came out. If not, it was when the PS3 was out.
Yeah.
And I've had it refunded before. I know for a fact I did. He's like, well, let me go check your account, blah, blah, blah. He comes back and he's like, steadfast, like, nope, sorry, we can't help you out. I'm like, motherfucker. I'm like, I got 50 platinums. I literally have a PlayStation tattoo on my fucking arm right now. Now I'm mad. So, of course, I was bluffing, but I'm like, he's holding firm. He's like, no. Are you and he tells me, you have never had another refund before last month on this account. We looked through your whole history. I'm like, that's bullshit. Now I'm pissed. I'm like, I've had this account since 2008 when PSN went live. Long story short, so I'm being an asshole, and I'm like, look, man, the Xbox One X just came out. You're familiar, correct? They don't give a fuck, but he's like, yeah, I understand. I'm like, I'm going to take all fucking 30-something of my PlayStation 4 games that I have in the other room with that PlayStation 4 Pro, which is a shell of a fucking, not even close to the X, you know what I mean? And like I said, I'm bluffing a little bit. But I'm like, I'm going to fucking GameStop tomorrow night, and I'm trading in all this shit toward Xbox One 4K compatible games, and he's like, sir, that's totally fine if you want to do that. I'm like, good, because I'm not getting another motherfucking platinum, and I hang up the phone. And they kept my $10. Fuck you, PlayStation.
They kept your $10.
They want to fucking refund me.
Every
So then I go on the website, and their website's a piece of shit, first of all. And I'm mad, because I remember specifically putting on Facebook back when the PS4 came out, saying how helpful PlayStation customer service was, and also Microsoft, because Microsoft never has a fucking problem refunding you that shit. It's like $10. Who gives a shit? Keep them as a customer, you know what I mean?
Microsoft doesn't give a fuck. They got billions, motherfucker.
They never gave me a fucking
$10.
issue, because they do the same thing. They auto fucking renew you, but like I called them up and they're like, no problem, sir. We apologize for the inconvenience, which is the way it should be. Long story short, I go to look at my account history, and they got the little fucking calendar icons, begin date, end date. So I go back all the way to 2007. Or, no, it came out in 06, but I got my PlayStation 07, so I did January 07 to today's date. The reason why he said there's never been a fucking refund is because you can't look past 2 years ago. So it only had 2016 and 2017 on my account. I'm like, that's not when my account was created. I didn't get 50 platinums in 2 years, but long story short, that was my fiasco. So now I'm kind of like, listen, man, I'm obviously a big PlayStation fan, but kind of the perfect storm right now. I'm like, I kind of want to get my multi-platform games on the X because most of them look better right now.
And because fuck Sony.
And they fucked me. I know it's only $10. I can afford $10. I got paid the next day, but it's like, dude, I'm not paying $10 for a month of PlayStation Plus when I'm not using it. I haven't even turned the system on until Black Friday to install fucking Mac.
I went through the same motherfucking thing. Almost exact same fucking story. Except when I had PlayStation Plus, I put in a trial, but it was before like they were fucking like auto-renewing people and stuff like that automatically on PS3.
Mm-hmm.
And none of that happened, so it was like, whatever. And then it started with fucking Overwatch. Oh my god. So I got fucking Overwatch on PS4 so I could play with a friend, right? Buy a year of PlayStation Plus, and this was May 26th of last year. Pick it up, put it in my year. Comes up to be, well, fucking May, months ago.
They give you a year?
They charged me another fucking 60 full fucking dollars, and I was like, hold up, this ain't fucking cool, because my bank messages me when I make like charges and stuff. I was like, okay, that's not fucking cool. So I call up Sony, and they give me the whole same spiel about like, oh, we can only do this once. And I'm like, well, I hope it doesn't fucking happen again because I'm going to throw a bitch fit. Like, this is stupid. This is retarded. You can't just go around slapping $60 bills on people. That's retarded.
And saying, well, even if you're not going to use it too bad, like, this is our policy, so we're still going to keep your money.
And I told the guy, like, and he's like, yeah, it's a one-time thing, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, well, next time I'll just go through my fucking bank, and I'll get my money back from the bank, instead of you fucking assholes. And then you guys get fucked and get a charge back and all this shit, and it's going to end up costing you a lot more money.
You know what pisses me off,
And
too?
the worst part is, I don't even really play my PlayStation that much.
Yeah.
I just bought a PSVR, so obviously I'm going to play it a little bit.
You don't need to pay for Plus to play that, though.
No, you don't. And
I'm not going to fucking buy PlayStation Plus.
Never buy fucking PS Plus.
Because we're from the fucking PC Master Race, you know?
Fuck
We're a
yeah,
little bit
my
better
guy.
than fucking PlayStation. No, I'm just kidding. But, honestly, though, like, now that we're in PCMR, like, we don't pay for online. Like, we just, you know what I mean? Like, it sounds like condescending, but, like, at the same time, like, we've been to an area, like, through the Blizzard app, or Battle.net, where they provide a completely awesome service free of charge. It can be done.
Yeah.
For something like Overwatch, and I got the game for free because my pal Matt gave it to me.
You know what the funniest part is, too? Is Nintendo was going to charge for online. That has seemingly disappeared into the ether.
Yeah, I think that's going to change a little bit.
I have not heard them speak a fucking word about it.
Well,
again.
they said they were going to bring it up in January.
Yeah, well, I have a feeling they're going to be like, it's going to be free. We changed our mind. I feel like that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And it's just going to make the Switch an even fucking primo better console. Fuck everyone else, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like an alternate universe kind of deal.
So before we get to the Girth tonight, here's the itinerary. We already spoke next week, Game of the Year.
Yes.
You guys pumped?
Yes.
You awake?
Yes.
Not falling asleep?
Never.
You ready?
That's right.
Got your beer?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Fake Yingling.
Not quite as good as regular. Here's the itinerary for tonight, okay?
Yep.
As always, corrections, new releases, game announcements, news, and QUIZTACULAR. And by news, I mean the Girth. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
Corrections. There are none.
That's right. We're perfect.
New releases. There are none. Game announcements. There were none until the other day. They actually announced Valkyria Chronicles 4, which apparently people are actually pretty excited about.
Coming to Switch, right? I heard something about it coming to Switch.
I know it's on PS4. Maybe it's on Switch too. I don't know. Never really played those. Plus 3 never came out here.
I know Revolution or whatever just came out here.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
All right.
So, you guys ready?
Do it. The Girth.
EA.
The Girth. So,
EA is
to update our community, and Teddy, who's not up to date on the situation, so let me tell you about it. Before Matt and I should have our fucking throwdown.
Gonna get a massive call out.
We need to both give each other time to speak. Because this might get interesting. We've been holding off this conversation for a while, because this was probably the biggest gaming story of the year.
It's gonna be.
Of the entire calendar year.
It's gonna be.
So Star Wars Battlefront II was very long awaited. EA they're in the middle of this 5-year deal with fucking Lucasfilm to do Star Wars games. Yeah. The first game was decent. Now, of course, this is a rebooted series as well, but the first Battlefront was decent. It had no campaign.
Yes.
So they're like, hey, we're going to make a second one. It's going to have a campaign. It's going to be great. And we're going to put more effort into the multiplayer because they don't have a stunted development cycle, so they have more time to do this. Everybody expected the game to be really good. The game goes out to reviewers and all these publications a couple days before the game launches.
Which is not enough time.
Not enough time, but everybody busted through it. They got used to the multiplayer components and the leveling up system and the progression system. And they played the very tight, very mediocre campaign. Everybody got the review written. And then about 3 hours before the game comes out, midnight release on a Tuesday,
They lengthened the embargo or something?
No. Everybody that got early... Okay, if you were in EA Access and you got a digital copy of the game, and you pre-ordered it, you got 3 days extra... 3 days early access to the game.
Yeah.
So people have been playing it, and all these publications like IGN and everybody have been playing it for a couple days. It turns out that the major issue with the game... Not only does the progression suck, and it's actually not a very good game at all, but the whole game is tied to microtransactions and loot boxes to the point where you can buy this currency, much like a lot of other games, honestly. Let's just call it down the middle first. But you can spend this currency in the game. In loot boxes, you pretty much don't get anything in this game except for a little tiny bits of currency. So what happened was to buy any of the Star Wars heroes like Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader, everybody has a different price of these crystals, which is the fake currency that you buy with real money, or you can earn a minuscule amount in the game. The heroes cost way too much money, like
40,000 in
insane, and you get like 100, 150 at a time max. From a loot box, from one loot box when you level up or you find a loot box, whatever.
And matches aren't quick either.
So,
it's
no,
like
they're not.
15 to 30 minutes.
They're like 40-player battles. So,
Yeah.
long story short, what happened was 3 hours before the game launches worldwide, the rumor goes that, I think his name is Kevin Eichler, or whatever the CEO of fucking Disney is, calls up the head of EA and says, listen man, you're on CNBC, you're on CNN. Yeah. Awful fucking reviews for the game. Everybody's pissed about the microtransactions. Oh, and the thing that I didn't mention was that, and this is the shitty part that almost universally everybody hates.
Fucking literal damage control mode at that point.
But the game's player progression. Okay, in something like Overwatch, we'll get to the argument in a minute, but I love Overwatch and I like loot boxes. The loot boxes in Overwatch, which you can buy with real money, or you just get 4 when you level up.
Which is pretty frequent.
It is pretty frequent, and the matches are a lot quicker, but it doesn't affect player...
progression?
Well, right, it doesn't affect your progression, but it also doesn't affect the skill level of the player.
Or like any sort of powers.
You just get, well, in Overwatch, as an example, you just get new skins.
Yeah.
Or new taunts,
cosmetics.
or whatever. It's all cosmetics. In Star Wars Battlefront, it would affect your perks and your character development, and... The problem with this is that if you just wanted to spend a lot of money in Star Wars Battlefront 2, you could just to get better at the game and get all the better weapons and everything.
And then you'd be better than everybody else.
And that's what was happening in those 3 extra days that people got to play the game who pre-ordered it. That people would just spend $100 or $200 at a time and just get all these great weapons, get all these great characters, and fucking destroy everybody else online. And it was destroying and fracturing the community, and the game wasn't even officially out yet. So this brought on... literally a global conversation about have loot boxes and has microtransactions as a whole gotten predatory? Is it gambling? There's different rules in different nations, like Belgium, which we were talking about earlier. Is it a bad thing? Is it going too far? Are companies like EA preying upon their consumers and literally breaking a game and not caring about player progression or like the artistic result of a game, or the fucking developers how do I fucking verbalize this?
Developer's vision.
Yeah, the developer's vision, that's all secondary as long as we make a lot of money even through predatory practices on the consumer, because we got to make our investors happy, which this exploded last week. To the point where it was literally on the news everywhere globally. Certain countries like Belgium, as an example, are looking at loot boxes as a whole now because of this game as a form of gambling, which there is that aspect to the conversation we had as well. You were saying off camera that it's going to be a cataclysmic event, far-reaching for the entire industry, which it very well could be. And it could vary from country to country as well because of the different nations' rules on gambling. Long story short, everybody hates EA. It's the most hated company in America. Officially, wink wink.
So fucking... It's absolutely
So this stuff, look,
Incredible.
just to put a cap on this before we start speaking.
Like, you walk around and ask people, what company do you hate the most, and people say EA. That's fucking ridiculous.
So let's just recap. 2017 started for EA very poorly because they released Mass Effect Andromeda, full on Mass Effect 4.
Fucking.
There's never been a bad Mass Effect game before. And then that came and fucking bombed and was of the lowest possible quality to the point where they half the staff of BioWare. Yep. They closed that fucking BioWare studio, not BioWare as a whole, but that studio that was a BioWare Montreal, yeah. Closed
50 miles north, for fuck's sake.
They fucking shuttered that studio, literally put out a statement saying, hey, this huge multi-million-dollar franchise of ours called Mass Effect that was ginormous, like Call of Duty size 5 years ago, it's on indefinite hiatus because of how bad this game was, quality-wise. Couple months later, they shut Visceral down, who made another multi-million-dollar franchise in Dead Space, which we talked about a couple episodes ago. Shut them down completely, and Dead Space as a franchise is kind of in limbo, but
Dead Space was dead after Dead Space 3.
And that was an awful game. But then, literally, all of a sudden, thousands of people don't have jobs. Then, a couple weeks ago...
Wait, Visceral. Wasn't Visceral in charge of making a Star Wars MMO?
In that game, it wasn't an MMO, it was a third-person action game.
Yes, a story-driven game.
That's canceled.
With Amy Hennig from Uncharted.
Canceled.
From Naughty Dog.
That's gone.
They put a lot of money into that already.
Yeah, EA doesn't give a fuck. They wipe their ass with money. So, then a couple weeks ago, one that hit home to me... Yeah. One that hit home to me was that they purchased Respawn Entertainment and half-heartedly announced Titanfall 3, which we didn't even know if we were going to get one because at the ass end of last year, 1 year ago, they sent Titanfall 2 out to die, which was one of the best games to release last year.
Yeah.
Sent it out to die because they put it out the week after Battlefield 1 and the week before Call of Duty
Infinite
Warfare. Killed the fucking sales for that game. For their own game. They killed, there's a lot of theories as to why they did that. Anyway, now they purchased Respawn. Are they going to close Respawn down? Did they just buy it so that they could buy the Titanfall?
They just buy the license?
Yeah, they have Vince Zampella now, who obviously made Modern Warfare and had the legal...
He's IW.
Yeah, he was Infinity Ward, and he and half his people went and left Activision to form Respawn, and now they're officially part of EA.
Ugh.
Yeah.
They went from one terrible, evil corporation to another.
Nobody knows what he's thinking right now, but it's just weird. And then, literally, a week or two later, they have this huge fiasco with Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now, listen. It got to the point where it could be franchise damaging for the Star Wars IP. They got a pretty big movie coming out in 2 weeks, okay? I don't know if you heard, Star Wars Last Jedi is coming out soon.
Not happy.
Disney didn't stand around for that. So basically, long story, very, very short.
The House of Mouse was fucking pissed.
Disney was pissed, and, well... Okay.
Spit it out, Dustin. Jesus.
Well, everybody says, oh, Disney saved it. Well, Disney, it's not like EA could have done any of this without Disney's permission in the first place. So basically what EA did was 3 hours before the game launched in North America, they said, hey, we're really sorry. We've heard your concerns. Some bullshit apology that was tweeted out like a bazillion times. One of the most downvoted Reddit post in the history of Reddit was from one of the developers from EA who posted this post. Said, hey, we're cutting the cost of Heroes by 75%. Which sounds to me like they kind of felt like, hey, this is the price that they should have been, but let's quadruple it before launch and see how much we can get away with. And then now there's all these problems where people spent like literally hundreds of dollars on the game in those first 3 days, and now they're like, we want refunds. That's bad too for the company. All of a sudden you got to refund these people fucking a lot of money.
And that's after they shut off microtransactions as a whole.
Oh yeah, they shut those off completely now. You can't buy anything in game. But in the half-ass apology that they had in this one post, they also said at the very end, but we're going to turn them back on in a few months, so stay tuned.
They just don't fucking quit.
Matt.
So we're gonna have the second call out of the episode.
And wait, was the first one calling out Sony?
Bethesda.
Yes.
On their shitty port of Wolfenstein 2.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now, the second call out of the night is going to be EA for their absolute travesty that is Star Wars Battlefront 2. I would like Justin's take on these microtransactions first, since we have fairly
Are
different
you sure? Because
opinions.
I've been speaking a lot.
No, that's all right. I want you to make sure it's
Okay.
all out. I want your opinion.
Well,
so I
we'll
can
go back and
destroy it
forth.
afterwards.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
Have either of us played Star Wars?
Negative.
What's that?
Have any of us played Star Wars Battlefront 2?
I played the first one for a minute amount of time.
Completely different game. But we haven't judged for ourselves other than what we hear from these podcasts or read on different websites and such, or from people that played it. My thing with Battlefront 2 is, notwithstanding the improving players' ability to compete online through cash transactions, that's bullshit. Because that's just breaking the game. You know that my take on microtransactions and DLC and anything in that vicinity, or loot boxes, I enjoy them a lot. I enjoy them because as long as they don't break the game. This is the first major release where it broke the game. Okay? So like Assassin's Creed Origins, you said a couple weeks ago that...
Yeah, we've heard complaints about.
Well, this is a large scale game. I mean, this is like as if...
But Call of
if
Duty
the next,
does the same thing with attachments and guns, but we don't hear about
you never get to buy them. No, you earn them through player progression, but you didn't get to fucking buy...
No, but sure, you could buy supply drops.
Yeah.
For fucking zombies mode and shit, though, but it doesn't
for
improve...
actual multiplayer.
Okay, well, I haven't played the last few, but imagine if the fucking Call of Duty World War II just came out, and you could just fucking buy all the fucking new guns, and all the new turrets, and all the fucking things that you usually... I'll have to look that up. But for fucking Star Wars Battlefront 2, you totally can, and it's a big fucking deal. And it just happens to be EA who brought this about. Usually in microtransactions for big games, we have things like Overwatch is the perfect example, because it's a fucking wonderful game. You can get all these fucking... Everything's optional. It doesn't improve your standing in the game, doesn't improve your skill, doesn't improve your moveset. It's all cosmetic. You get free loot boxes whenever you level up, or you want to pay $5, $10 here and there to get a couple loot boxes, you certainly can. I'm guilty of it, happily so. But I also just get costumes. Then you have things like Assassin's Creed Origins, which, and like I was saying before I played it, microtransactions exactly the same as they were for the last 4 Assassin's Creed games. There's no multiplayer in this. It's improving, well, first of all, most of them, 80% of the stuff that you can buy in the game are either low-level weapons that can be only upgraded to a certain point, it'll just help you at the very beginning of the game. Or it's just all cosmetic, or you can buy crafting materials for the single-player mode, which I have no problem doing that. They're called time savers. I don't mind throwing 99 cents here and there once a year to Ubisoft so that I can save some time on crafting a new sword or something. Especially for things that I can just spend 10 minutes and go farm and go find out in the fucking wilderness. But that's in a single-player game. You know what I'm saying? So, like, who's to say that that's a bad thing if I want to spend $10 to get some crafting items in Assassin's Creed Origins, or like a fucking new badass costume? Yeah, it came out on day one. Yeah, that black costume that I bought for fucking $2. You can't get that in the game. You can only get it through there. But there are other costumes that look great that you can get in the game with better stats. You know what I mean? But why is that wrong for, it's a single player game. Like, it's optional. You don't need it. I don't think there's any problem with that. Same with the loot boxes. As long as it doesn't break the game and as long as it doesn't give you an advantage over other players. The problem with Star Wars Battlefront 2 is you can spend a lot of money and have an advantage over other players just because you spent more money.
Yeah.
And it's also predatory because not only do you get an advantage over other players, but also there's no guarantee in what you could get. Not that there are in loot boxes for anything else, but there are people that wanted to get enough money, fake money, crystals, to buy Darth Vader or Darth Maul or Kylo Ren, and they would spend $80 thinking like, yeah, if I spend $80 in the game,
gonna get it. No, they don't.
And they fucking don't even get anywhere close to enough crystals to buy fucking Kylo Ren. I'm kind of going off on a couple tangents because I'm just kind of splurging all over the place. But I totally like loot crates. I totally like DLC. Particularly if they spend a lot of time on adding new content to a game that I really love. And I use Origins as an example because when the expansions come out for that, I'll definitely buy some. But anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So, I think first of all, to really precursor this whole discussion, and my take specifically on Battlefront II, I'm going to give you guys my direct opinion on microtransactions / loot boxes in games, first of all. I think, now this is whether or not it's multiplayer or single player game, if within these microtransactions they allow you to get ahead of other players in multiplayer games, or they can give you content that is exclusive to these microtransactions, especially if these microtransactions are available on day one, which 99.99999% of them are, that's 100% wrong. That's bad. Anything that you can only be purchased in a microtransaction should have been content that was put in the game in the first place.
But why? Okay, I gotta interrupt you though.
I didn't interrupt you though.
Okay, you're right. Go ahead.
So, like, if there's this costume that is only available in a microtransaction, obviously they said, well, we're making these costumes specifically for microtransactions. Why weren't they put into the fucking game and developed later like Overwatch? Granted, Overwatch has a whole system that was built uniquely around loot boxes every time you level up, which is extremely frequent to drop this loot box. Now, Overwatch is a particular case where it's built around it. I don't feel it's egregious really in the way that it's mannered. But I think loot boxes as a whole are a slippery slope because it's a randomized box that can be purchased with real money. I think it is predatory to any degree giving someone a random digital object, because it's one thing to say, hey, these are the hard stats, but there's no guarantee as what you're going to get. So, for instance, how many loot boxes have you ever gotten that you pull open in Overwatch and all you get is random common voiceover shit and just shitty costumes that you've already had? Pretty frequently, right? But how many times have you opened up a card pack and not gotten a rare? You know how the rare is usually at the back of the card pack? You always get a rare in a Pokemon card pack. Whether or not that rare is fantastic is debatable. But that rare is always there in the card pack. You always get a foil and a rare.
That's not true.
Yes, you do. In modern Pokemon cards, you get a foil
not back
and a
in the
rare.
day.
Back in the day, there was no such thing as a holo foil.
But there were hollow foils.
No, I'm talking about reverse holos.
Oh, I got
like
you.
the ones with the hollow.
I get what you're talking about.
So that in itself is extremely predatory in that respect, and I think that is a slippery slope. And I know when you say slippery slope, everybody goes off on this thing like, oh, it's not, all this shit. But it kind of is. Now, as far as that's my actual take on them. Do I think they have any place in the gaming industry? No. But here's the good part. Is what happened with Star Wars Battlefront II, it means the market is going to fix itself. I don't think this is something that necessarily legislation has to be made in order to force this change. I think the market is supposed to decide itself, and I think this consumer backlash is the market saying, hey, that's overstepping bounds. Obviously, when Overwatch came out, that did not overstep bounds. But now they have a fine line in the sand where consumers will stand on this. And just because I have a more strict view on how loot boxes should be incorporated into games, if they're going to be incorporated into games in the first place, doesn't mean everybody else has the same view. So I think this is a very strong defining moment as to seeing where the line in the sand is, and I'm going to see if that gets drawn back a little bit by Star Wars Battlefront II being an epic, cataclysmic failure for EA. The fact is, if the House of Mouse has to fucking step in and tell a game developer, hey, listen, maybe you shouldn't fuck us, that's a big deal. I feel like that's a huge deal. Disney is not a small corporation whatsoever. They are fucking massive and overreaching, and they own everything. That's scary. That's some scary shit. So, I think there's going to be a lot of consequences. I think what Belgium is doing with outright banning loot boxes, not a huge fan of that, because it's going to break a lot of games that are currently out.
They're not banning them, they're just classifying it as a form of gambling, so it needs to be regulated.
Yeah, I don't think there should be like age regulations really necessarily on it. There's people that say, you know, like, you should have to be 18 or older to be able to purchase a loot box. For Star Wars Battlefront 2, I mean, I don't know if I really even could think that would even be like something. You have to be responsible. You know, like if someone's gonna get chronically addicted to gambling with digital currency in a video game, I don't know if that's necessary. I know it happens, but I don't know if that's necessarily something that should be like regulated. I don't know. I'm very weird about like how much reach the government should have in my video games. Just like I think the ESRB is borderline unnecessary. But that's a whole nother topic. But
That is, let's not go down there.
yeah, let's not go down there.
So I have to counter with a couple things.
Yep.
I think you're absolutely right about the consumers drawing the line in the sand. We're particularly talking about this country. We don't have to get into the legal aspect of...
Like Belgium.
Yeah, like Belgium. If you want to talk about how loot boxes may or may not be a form of gambling, which they pretty much kind of are, even though I do enjoy it, partially because I can control myself and I don't gamble. I don't buy scratch tickets. I don't play bingo. Not that those are bad things. It's just a form of gambling. However, I think as a consumer, you have to be responsible enough to, and people cannot control themselves. Some people can't control themselves with gambling, and that's understandable. Like some people can't control themselves with alcohol. There's a lot of different societal aspects of this conversation, but I think as a consumer of a digital product like a video game, you have to be responsible enough to make decisions for yourself, especially us as adults. So if we are responsible enough to judge the content of the game, the sexual content, the violence content, or lack thereof.
You're old enough to judge the gambling content?
You're old enough to judge the gambling content. If you don't want to spend 99 cents on a fucking loot box, you don't have to. It's completely optional. So, to say that we should or should not have gambling or loot boxes or microtransactions in a game, yeah, it does suck. I've been burned on Overwatch. I spend $5 at a time sometimes if I have a little bit of disposable income, especially during those events where I really want that skin. Just taking a chance, even just to get a couple more credits, because you can't just buy the credits in Overwatch. Every game's different, but I've been burned where I get fucking 5 bundles of loot boxes and I don't get anything. Which, let's be fair, Blizzard is actually pretty good about that stuff, and they don't really fuck you all the time.
Blizzard, the way that they do it, I think they use like an appreciating
it's improved,
chance figure. Like it's like the more loot boxes you open, you get a higher chance of getting a legendary skin or an epic skin. Like
they do, yeah.
In that time period, so you're guaranteed a legendary skin at some point.
So I don't feel that it's inherently wrong, and I don't feel that microtransactions are inherently wrong. One of my main concerns for your argument was, and I do agree with the bulk of your argument, I think we're on the same page about Star Wars and affecting the players and everything like that. Mm-hmm. But you said that if a game comes out, it shouldn't have day one DLC, and any content that's on the store for that day should have been included in the game.
Day one DLC is unacceptable.
I understand. So, in my view, I completely disagree. Because, especially for something like Assassin's Creed, since it's the ongoing example we'll use aside from Overwatch, there was a ton of day one DLC that's completely optional that can only help you. Obviously, that's one example. It can only help you for the first couple levels of the game. and a lot of it's cosmetic, and it just makes you look cool. Or it gives you a little boost to kind of jump into the game faster and not have such a hard of a time. But that, in my estimation, that's the author's decision, the author of that media. If Ubisoft, or even if it's something like what's a good example? Cuphead. The game came out at a $20 price point. That's an indie game. The developers of that game decided, hey, $20 is a good price point. If they wanted to add extra characters day one, did it go off?
No, but we're getting up there.
Yeah. If they want to add extra characters day one and they say, hey, it can support us, it's completely optional, they don't give you a boost, they're just different color characters or something. Different color Cupheads, Mug Boy or whatever. Yeah, we have a purple one for 99 cents. We're an indie developer, it can help us out if you grab this. Completely optional though, you can enjoy the full fucking game. Who's to say that's inherently wrong? Just because Ubisoft or EA is a bigger company, I don't feel that, hey, I wanted to spend, I think I spent $20 in Assassin's Creed Origins the week it fucking came out. Or the week that I bought it, at least. Who's to say that's inherently wrong? I'm 31 years old. I can spend $20 in the game if I feel like it. I don't feel like I've been gypped. I knew exactly what I was buying. I knew that I paid $60 for that game. I really enjoyed... Fuck, if the game was $80, I probably would have paid that too, because it was worth it in my estimation. But I wanted to spend an extra $20 on crafting items and a fucking cool black-ass cloak. I'm 31 years old. I can do that. I didn't make the game. I'm not entitled to all the content that's ever going to come out on day one, whether it comes out day one or day 100. I'm not entitled to anything just because the game was $60. People have this weird... Because the price point for a AAA game has pretty much always been $60 for the last 15 years. A lot of people have this old school mentality that they think the game is $60, I should get everything that comes out day one. They shouldn't have a season pass. They shouldn't have the first DLC character in Injustice 2 ready to go on day one. Or the best character from Mass Effect 3 was ready, DLC day one, came with the special edition, but he was $5 if you didn't get the special edition. It's like, yeah, he was the greatest character in that game, and they obviously picked him to be $5 because they knew they'd get $5 extra out of you. But,
And you don't see that as predatory?
No, because I'm 31 years old and I can decide whether I want to do that or not. Now, if there's children...
That's the card.
That is the card. I'm 31 years old. I bought Mass Effect 3. I knew it was going to be a good game.
Fair.
I got the special edition, so I got the character for free. But, yeah, they purposely picked the best character in the game. One of the, I forget the species, but you've been hearing about the species the entire trilogy, and then 3 comes out, and they're like, hey, you can play as the last living one, but you got to pay $5 extra. Completely optional. You still get the full story. No,
I'm just saying we should probably cut it off before it cuts us off.
Fuck. Okay.
We'll get back.
Yep. So you were saying, obviously we got cut off. We kind of lost track, but you said, so that's the card we're going to play. Yes. Me being 31 years old, I can choose how to spend my money.
Of course.
I'm not entitled. I'm not entitled anything by having that $60 game. I'm not entitled to say I should own everything on that disc, or I should own everything for all the content they have ready for this game on day one because I paid $60 for the game, or $30 or whatever the author of that content put up on day one. It's up to them. And it's up to me to spend my money in the way that I want. The other problem that I have is saying, oh, it's predatory toward children. Yeah, it's predatory toward children, but perhaps the parents that purchased the PlayStation or that purchased the video game for their child, if they're underage, one, maybe you should keep your account password protected.
Yes.
And you shouldn't allow your child to, one, have a credit card, or two, spend freely with your credit card online.
I 100% agree with you.
Totally.
And I would hope most people do, but it happens a lot.
The fact that that's even a complaint is fucking sad.
Yeah.
That,
That's
children are going to charge it to my credit card. That's
just
fucking
poor
sad. That's not even
That is poor parenting. But that is an argument that I've heard on pretty much every podcast this week when they brought up Battlefield 2, saying that it's predatory toward children. Well, yeah, obviously children are going to look and say, hey, mommy, I really want Darth Vader. Let me spend fucking money on it so that I can get it. Well, that's up to the parent to say no.
Yes.
Don't just let them have free reign on your account. Anyway. I
100% agree with that, Justin.
Okay, Teddy, what's your feelings on The controversy. Before we do QUIZTACULAR.
If I'm buying
You have
a
anything to
game,
add?
especially on a disc, physical media, don't charge me to unlock something that's already on the disc, first of all.
Or is already out.
Yes.
More than often nowadays, it's out, but it's not on the disc anymore. Because they tried that shit, and the community spoke.
With
just like they are
It's
now.
pretty
Yeah,
obvious.
Capcom did it with Street Fighter.
So I spent $3 for 6 kilobyte download of
Unlock,
something.
yeah.
So it's an unlock, let's be honest, okay? My whole issue with what's been going on with Battlefront is it is game breaking. You can't argue against that.
In Battlefront, yeah.
Yeah. If you're buying to get a competitive advantage, if you're spending money to get a competitive advantage, guess what? You just screwed over the people that
Play the game honestly.
yeah, and that's totally not fair, totally not cool. These guys are trying to do it legit. People that want to spend money and get ahead, getting ahead faster, I can kind of understand that. But just having a straight up advantage, straight up, right out of the gate,
In multiplayer, you mean?
yeah.
So how do you feel about single player, though? If you get a boost like you can in Assassin's Creed, which is fairly insignificant, but if you can do 20% extra damage for the first 2 hours of the game than you normally would for
And you know what?
$2 extra or something, is that inherently wrong?
Put it this way: a person like myself, you guys know, I don't have time to do much. Okay?
Right.
So that would fit a person of my lifestyle, okay?
Because it's not hurting anybody in a single player game.
And you know what? I will still not. Because I like to do everything legit. I don't take shortcuts in life. That's just the type of person I am. That's my personality.
But who's to say it's illegitimate?
Even if it is a single player.
But who's to say
There's
it's
no shame.
illegitimate if that's the way the game was designed?
If they're designing for you that way, then guess what? I could call it smart business too. Because now they're catering to the person with that disposable income that has limited time, that just wants to get through the game fast through a single player. Cut down that 50-hour single player campaign into like 40, 30, because they're able to do more damage and get through bosses faster, get through missions faster.
So,
Sure, smart business. Will I do that? No, because I don't like shortcuts. I don't like to pay.
I'm all about the shortcut.
Yeah, I just cannot justify that because in my life, that's just the way I was brought up. I do everything legit, and there are no shortcuts. And I've learned that through the business. You know what? If I take shortcuts in the business, at the shop, guess what? I compromise quality. And in my opinion, if I was to take a shortcut in a game, I compromise the quality of my playthrough.
But why?
Which means, guess what? Less skill.
But wait a minute. You're equating your business.
Can I get into
which
point
is your
here?
livelihood? Yeah, let me finish this part though. You're equating your business with a video game, which is just leisure though. So why is cutting corners in something that you just find enjoyable? Why does that?
I might not find it enjoyable.
Okay, but I mean, in general, you find video games enjoyable.
Yes, but if I was to take a shortcut, then I feel like I might have devalued the amount of skill that should have been required.
I 100% agree with Teddy on this. I 100% agree with him. The point I want to make up here too, Justin, and I don't think you're looking at it from the full 180 degree picture here, or 360 degree picture, is
It's late.
developers, especially for this stuff, like let's put Shadow of War on the spotlight here. At the end of Shadow of War, there's a certain like limit you have to reach. Granted, I didn't play Shadow of War because I refused to buy it because of the fucking practices that WB has. But you have to reach this certain like limit of something. Not 100% sure, but it keeps you from getting to the end of the game. So it becomes essentially a fucking grind fest.
Kind of shit, yeah.
And this is a single player game. So the way that these developers and publishers are forcing into these games is they're making that time longer, so it's more appealing for you to purchase
Some
them.
developers.
some developers, but what we're talking about is the problematic microtransactions. So in this particular case with Shadow of War, they designed the game in a format which even someone who sits down and plays all day is not going to have the time to get through this, except if they play for a absolutely ridiculous amount of time. So therefore, that's when it becomes even more prevalently predatory, is when that they're extending the grind and monotony of the game in order to justify people buying the microtransactions. That's
one
awful.
example.
Yes, but I'm sure there's there's the
There's a
majority
solution.
more.
There's a solution to all this.
Them just not putting in the fucking microtransactions and making the game
it's to vote with your wallet.
Yeah.
You can wait for the review.
Exactly.
You don't have to pre-order.
I 100% agree.
You can wait. You wait for those Shadow of War reviews, and you read exactly what you just said. Somebody that already played it, they got a free copy of it, and said, "Hey, you're going to have to play an extra 20 hours to get to the end of the game or something." And then you say, "No, I'm not going to do that." So, like you said, the community has spoken for Star Wars, and rightfully so. And hopefully, it was a big enough fiasco and a big enough release to jolt the industry in a direction that's not predatory. I just thought it would be fun to have this conversation, which it was.
Oh yeah, it's excellent. Actually,
Yeah, I think it's a
loved
really
it.
good
It was
conversation.
very productive.
I mean, one more point that I want to say, because obviously we both feel the way that we feel. I don't mind paying developers extra money for certain things, like I did with Assassin's Creed.
For convenience.
Because,
especially.
well, not just the extra crafting materials, but like the costumes. Same with Blizzard. I don't mind spending $5 a paycheck on...
But see, the problem...
Wait a minute, let me finish my point. So, I don't mind spending that money to do that, as long as I feel like I'm getting something in return. Especially if I'm like emotionally invested in that franchise for something like Assassin's Creed. Or like Halo implemented it horribly with Halo 5, but I love Halo. If it helped the developer, now these are bad examples because they're huge AAA games, but say Cuphead put out DLC, you know what I mean? And say the developers didn't get as much press as they did when the game came out, you know what I mean? It was kind of under the radar and it was on Steam, and it was like the top 300 games of Steam for the week or something. I wouldn't mind throwing a little extra money their way if I feel like I'm getting something in return, especially if I'm passionate about it. Something like Star Wars Battlefront II, one, it's hard for us to talk about because we haven't played it. But like Shadow of War, I don't give a fuck about Shadow of War. You know what I mean? But I would be heartbroken.
There was a lot of people that...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I would be heartbroken if the new Assassin's Creed came out.
Hell, I would have played Shadow of War.
And I got 80% of the way through the game and realized that I had to pump extra money into it if I ever wanted to get to the end of the game. That's obviously predatory. So I would feel affected. So if I were a big Star Wars fan, specifically a big Star Wars gamer, yeah, I would have been burned too. But I guess you got to vote with your wallet because.
And I think that's a very important thing to kind of get towards the end of the conversation with too, is nothing happens until you vote with your wallet. Yes. I'm sick of people talking about it and not doing anything about it. If you truly actually fucking hate these practices, and vote with your fucking wallet. That's
don't
how
buy
anything.
the DLC. Don't buy your season passes.
Don't buy the fucking game.
And you know what? This is what I wanted to say too. Alright? And this is even a broad scope now. I'm going to bring it into a broad scope, okay? Look at society today. Look at people. Look at even actually kids. Right? You said it yourself before. I'm all about the shortcuts, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
In video
Don't
games.
take this personally. And I see it every day at the shop. I will always relate everything back to business. Because I see a very broad spectrum of society where I work. Everybody's all about this instant gratification.
I was just checking the timing on it.
Yeah, instant gratification, right? Everybody wants it now, and they'll pay it, they'll do it, whatever it takes. If I want it, I want it now.
Yep.
Translates right back into video games, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's also another reason why I will not pay for a shortcut. Just because I grew up grinding 15 hours in a video game to reach this certain point, or to reach this certain achievement, or just like to get this certain unlock. as opposed to buying it. It's so ingrained in my head that I cannot take a shortcut. I cannot I don't seek that kind of instant gratification.
But
Like sometimes I feel like people are entitled to these things too. And that even makes me sick. Because you know what? You didn't earn it either.
But there's a difference between earning something in business, or like, let's use the baseball analogy because we're baseball fans.
Let's do it.
I'm all about the shortcuts in a video game.
Of course.
I'm not about shortcuts in terms of, taking steroids or performance enhancing drugs to cheat. That's different. That's in a competition. That's in a
Star Wars
business.
Battlefront II.
Yeah, but that.
Okay,
when you
but
talk
what I'm saying.
multiplayer, that is that
Okay, if you're talking about multiplayer, but I'm talking about Assassin's Creed Unity, or Origins.
Competing
If I
against
wanted to
yourself.
spend that extra money, I don't feel like, okay, doing PEDs in baseball, that's inherently wrong. That is cheating.
Of course.
If I can spend a few extra dollars to get ahead in the video game and take that shortcut, I don't think that's inherently wrong. That's not a negative reflection on society today. It's just a reflection on society. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, why is it wrong if I want, like, it's like streaming movies. Like, yeah, it's so much easier for me to just buy the movie on Amazon and stream it rather than go to the video store to buy it. Why would that be inherently wrong?
No one's saying no. Here's the thing. I didn't say it was wrong. Not once. I'm pretty sure I didn't use those words.
No,
wrong.
you didn't say it was wrong.
Exactly.
No,
I did.
What I'm saying, what I did say was, that's my.
You said you don't want to take shortcuts, but you're
Yes.
equating it to business, and you don't want to take shortcuts in the business because it would be wrong if you did. You're
It would
sacrificing
compromise
quality.
I'm
Exactly.
compromising quality.
But that's business,
Yes.
not leisure.
But same thing. Even at leisure, I will know that I took that shortcut and I compromised the quality of my playthrough.
So you
Does that
think
make sense? Like, does that
Assassin's
make
Creed
sense?
Origins
Do you
would have been
understand that
better
logic?
for me if I would have spent the extra time and not paid the money for those?
It depends on how you value your time and how you value the quality of your playthrough.
So let me put a good
Put a cap on it.
something to put this into perspective for you, Justin.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm not saying anything's wrong.
No, like say you're playing Dark Souls. What is the focal point of playing Dark Souls? Like, it's beating the big, very hard boss after
It's
every section.
meant
The
to be
focus of
punishing.
Dark Souls is the challenge.
It's meant
Right.
to
It's
be
an old
punishing.
school style video game. The focal point of Assassin's Creed is not the challenge.
No, but
It's
hear
the
me
story.
out. Hear me out here, though.
There's a lot of different examples.
What I'm saying is the quality where you see in Dark Souls comes within the accomplishment of defeating the boss. And it's a build-up, you're working towards it, and then when you accomplish it, it feels good. It releases the endorphins and you feel like a boss, and you go, yes, and you arm pump and all that stuff. In Assassin's Creed, like, the fact that you're playing as this person, you can debate and say that Assassin's Creed Origins is a role-playing game, right? An RPG. Well, if you're playing as the role of that person, people in real life cannot purchase shortcuts. You couldn't purchase a job.
It's not real life though. It's a video game.
I know, but what I'm saying though, Justin, is it diminishes the quality of that story if you can just buy your way to the end of it. That's
I
the problem.
don't feel like buying the extra crafting materials to make my knife do more damage. Destroy the quality of the game or my playthrough. I just don't.
Then it comes down to just a difference of opinion at
It
that
does.
point. But like,
Let me equate it like this in terms of numbers now. Let's say you went through a campaign of a video game. You used shortcuts. You paid for those shortcuts. You did it in 30 hours. How about the guy that did it legit and did it in 50?
If I still got my platinum, I don't give a fuck.
Fair enough.
That's my opinion.
see,
So will you say the quality of your playthrough is the same as the quality of the 50?
I'm saying that I enjoyed Assassin's Creed Origins.
It's just the end results.
Whether I spent
And justifies the means.
Whether I spent $20 on Assassin's Creed Origins or not inside the game didn't lessen my enjoyment of it at all. I still put 38 hours into it, loved every fucking second of it, and I have no qualms about losing $20 to get a cool robe and a couple extra crafting items.
okay, let me put this into perspective too. You spent how much on microtransactions for Assassin's Creed?
$20.
And how much did you spend on the base game?
$60.
What did you get
Well
out of the
spent.
microtransactions?
Well spent. extra damage for my fucking hidden blade,
Okay.
and a cool robe.
So
Cool.
And I have no qualms about it, and you're not going to change my mind.
no, I'm not. But I'm trying to put it into perspective for you.
Because you
See,
think that's your opinion.
No.
Okay.
Listen.
I'm listening.
Fucking listen. You got a cool robe, and you got extra damage on your knife.
Yep.
What did you get for $40 more than robe and extra damage on your knife? You got the whole entirety of the game
Okay.
for $40 extra. How many robes did you get in the $60 game?
I don't care. I'm an adult and I wanted to spend the money on it.
But what I'm saying...
I'm sorry that you don't agree with it and you don't like spending that much money on a robe, but I enjoyed it. And I totally am happy giving my money to Ubisoft for it.
If you're happy to be what they consider a whale, you can be happy with that.
They gave me a cool game that I got 38 wonderful hours out of, and it's my number 2 game of the year.
All
and
right.
we'll talk about that next week.
But, and that's totally fine.
And you don't have to spend the money on it.
You don't have to, but what I'm saying is
It's completely optional.
It's predatory to a degree.
They did not prey on me. I willingly gave them money. They are not preying on me. Ubisoft did not victimize me. If it was a 5-year-old that didn't know the value of $1 and spent his parents' money on it, then it's predatory.
Vote with your wallet, kids.
Voted with my wallet, and I
See?
gave them my money. All right, so great debate we had.
Yes.
Now we're gonna have a great QUIZTACULAR. Okay. What is your score? You won last week.
I don't fucking know. It's like 8 or 9.
I think it's 9. Might be a
Hey, who'd you beat last week?
Well, we did the whole rule where if we only have 2 people, I give him the questions, and if he gets half of them right or more, then he gets a point.
Oh.
That was more or less just so that we could have a QUIZTACULAR for the viewers, because they enjoy it, and we enjoy having viewers.
Thank you, 3 viewers.
We had 11 last week, an all-time low, but it's all right. Maybe because Teddy wasn't here, so Teddy's back. Just kidding.
Teddy's the pole.
Teddy's
I
the
am
bull.
not the pole. No.
What's your score? Are you 3?
I think 3.
Because you passed me. Are we ready?
Let's
For
do it.
QUIZTACULAR number 17.
It's time to win.
We only have a couple episodes left. If you're at 9 and you're at 3, I think we know who's going to get the championship pants this year.
I am out.
But
Please
it's
take
okay. We'll
I'm
still-
gonna make them so loud.
All right. You guys ready? I
Uh-huh.
got 10 questions. I hope that doesn't need a tiebreaker because I don't have a tiebreaker.
You gotta wear it once a week. Remember that.
Yeah. No, every week. Yeah. Every episode. So we'll have to make up some special champ pants. All right. Question number 1. The first demo for Final Fantasy VII was shown to the public on Nintendo 64 hardware. E3 2005. I'm sorry, E3 1995.
I was gonna say, what the fuck?
Cobra?
In 1995?
Yeah.
What month?
I don't know. Summer?
I was born at the very beginning of 1995.
You were alive.
Oh.
You're
So
older
you
than
were-
Final Fantasy VII.
I was almost almost a 1994 baby.
You were on the earth.
19 days beforehand, and I would have been a 1994 baby.
Okay. The first demo for Final Fantasy VII was shown to the public on N64 hardware. But Cloud, Tifa, and other Final Fantasy VII characters were not featured. Instead, this original version featured 3D character models from which famous 2D Square RPG? It was more or less a tech demo. Did it feature characters from Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, Xenogears, or Final Fantasy Tactics? Final Fantasy VII, in its very first tech demo, very first revealed to the public, featured characters from Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, Xenogears, or Final Fantasy Tactics. Oops.
What were the options again?
Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, Xenogears, or Final Fantasy Tactics.
Trigger.
I'm gonna say Final Fantasy VI. It's either Final Fantasy VI or Xenogears, but I think it's Final Fantasy VI.
They showed characters from Final Fantasy VI,
Giving it up already. Holy shit.
The real winner will be the guy that doesn't have to wear the pants. Score 1
You're just the paper champion.
to nothing.
You guys just have rage against the machine. That's all.
Question 2.
I'll put that patch on there.
The character known as Donkey Kong from the original 1980s arcade and NES games
He's gonna win this one.
now appears in current Donkey Kong games under what name? Is it Cranky Kong, Wrinkly Kong, Funky Kong, or Lanky Kong?
What was that?
The character of Donkey Kong from the original 1980s arcade games and the NES games now appears in current Donkey Kong games under what name? Is it Cranky Kong, Wrinkly Kong, Funky Kong, or Lanky Kong?
Cranky Kong.
Frank.
It is Cranky Kong. 2-1.
Surprising.
Because they grew up just like Donkey Kong Jr.'s Donkey Kong.
That is correct. Which famous Blizzard character is not currently playable in Heroes of the Storm?
Hots.
You'd be surprised because they just updated the fuck out of Heroes of the Storm too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really
I
underrated, by the way.
hope you made this like
I did.
fucking last night because
Who
they've been
is-
seriously throwing motherfuckers in like crazy.
Who is not in Heroes of the Storm? Is it Tracer from Overwatch, Asmodean from Diablo, Malthael from Diablo 3, I can never say his name, or the Reaper from Overwatch? Tracer,
The
Asmodean-
Reaper or Reaper?
Reaper. Tracer, Asmodean, Malthael, or Reaper. Well, because Malthael is the Grim Reaper from Diablo, so I got thrown off for a minute.
No.
Asmodean.
It is Reaper from Overwatch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I could have sworn he just came in. Maybe I mixed him up.
Yeah, he's not. They added all the shit characters. Well, they have Diva, which is nice.
Zarya, Diva, Genji, like those are shit
Genji,
characters.
fucking
Tracer?
Tracer, fucking
Oh, fuck planet you on, boy?
they need some Soldier 76 in that bitch. They need some fucking
Of course you would say that.
Farah.
What a surprise.
Gennaro Bland character.
2-1. Ubisoft recently announced an Assassin's Creed spin-off game, a spiritual successor to Black Flag. What was it called? Is it called Hempen Halter, Pirates Creed, Skull and Bones, or All Hands?
Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones. 3-2. Matt's in the lead. What was the very first Shin Megami Tensei game called?
You just butchered that fucking
I
name,
know.
man.
SMT. What was the first SMT game? Was it called Shin Megami Tensei? Was it called Digital Devil Story? Was it called Nocturne? Or was it called Strange Journey?
What were the options again?
Don't throw this, Matt.
Shin Megami Tensei, Digital Devil Story, Nocturne, or Strange Journey?
Digital Devil Story, Strange Journey. No, it's definitely not. What was the other one?
Shin Megami Tensei, Digital Devil Story, Nocturne, or Strange Journey?
Um,
I'll give you a hint, it was on Famicom.
oh yeah. I want to say it's Strange Journeys coming out on 3DS January. I don't know if it's a remake.
That's really the SMT game.
I am an SMT guy. There's just a lot of fucking SMT games. You know, something's telling me it's Strange Journey. That's a remake. So I'm just gonna go with Strange Journey. I'm not actually sure.
Makes sense.
It is Digital Devil Story.
Fuck!
Damn it!
No, you got that right.
No, but I don't want to wear the pin. Well, I can't.
You're the game.
I'm not eliminated anyway. Yeah, I'll take that.
So, Strange Journey is a remake. Strange Journey was the first one to come out in the US,
Maybe that's what I was thinking.
but Digital Devil Story was the first to come out
First canon one.
in Japan.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, the first couple were on Famicom.
Strange Journey was
3-3. I don't know, to be honest. Which Halo game takes place at the earliest part in the timeline? Which Halo game takes place the earliest? Halo Combat Evolved, Halo Wars 2, or Halo Reach?
Halo Reach.
Final answers?
Yep.
No, Halo Wars.
What?
Halo,
Fucking retarded.
Halo Wars is 20 years before Reach.
Of course you know this.
3-3. We're tied. Somebody needs to untie it in 4 questions. What was the very first expansion to release for Fallout 3? Operation Anchorage, The Pit, Broken Steel, or Point Lookout?
Okay. Wait. Repeat that again, sorry.
Operation Anchorage, The Pit, Broken Steel, or Point Lookout?
Yeah, the pit.
It was Operation Anchorage.
What? I thought Operation Anchorage was the second one.
No.
No way.
Yeah,
That's gotta be wrong. Totally the pit. That's fucking fake news right there. You need to look that shit up.
Hey Siri, what was the first expansion pack for Fallout 3?
Here's what I found on the web for what was the first expansion pack for Fallout 3.
What does it say, Teddy? Live checking.
Damn it.
It wouldn't have been the first time that QUIZTACULAR
The pit
person asking
is
about.
second.
Fuck.
Yeah. January 27th was
It'd only be the
Anchorage.
second time.
Just like, you know, Strider was
March
in fucking
25th.
Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
So I got one straight. And like a million fucking perfect pitches.
Well done, Faulty Locks.
Alright, 3-3.
You are correct.
You fucking got us.
We have 3 questions.
At 4 in the fucking morning. Congratulations.
It is 4. Which video game developer created the original Fallout games before selling the IP to Bethesda in the mid-2000s?
Ooh.
This is a good one.
Was it Interplay, Acclaim, OTC Pink, or Blizzard?
Interplay.
It is
I
Interplay.
feel like this was a repeat question.
Might have been.
No.
Run out of
Two questions, 3-3. I did put this one together, alright. What was the first ever third-party developed game in a Legend of Zelda series? Was it Link, The Faces of Evil, Zelda, The Wand of Gamelon, Zelda's Adventure, or The Legend of Zelda Ancient Stone Tablets?
say this again?
Which was the first ever third-party developed Zelda game? Link, The Faces of Evil, Zelda, The Wand of Gamelon, Zelda's Adventure, or The Legend of Zelda Ancient Stone Tablets?
The third one was Zelda's Adventure.
Yep.
Zelda's Adventure.
What was the second choice?
Zelda, The Wand of Gamelon,
And what was the first choice?
Link, The Faces of Evil.
What was the third choice?
They're all real games.
Yeah.
Link, the Faces of Evil.
It is Link, The Faces of Evil.
Yes, motherfucker! It was one of the Philips CDI games.
Yes, I thought it was Zelda's
Yes.
Adventure.
4-3, Teddy.
I pulled it the fuck out, boys.
Yeah, tie
Let's
it,
go.
Which of the following games did the legendary Shigeru Miyamoto not direct, produce, or design any aspect of? Was it Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link? Was it Star Fox? Was it Stunt Race FX? Or was it Yoshi's Cookie?
It was. He had nothing to do with.
Nothing to do with it.
Literally nothing.
Okay, so
Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, Star Fox, Stunt Race FX, or Yoshi's Cookie?
I was gonna say because Star Fox was not designed by Shigeru, but he had a hand in it. That's totally not. Because that was Q Games.
Don't worry yourself fast. Please be wrong.
You don't want to throw the game.
I feel like Shigeru wouldn't have touched Stunt FX. But at the same time, I feel like it's totally big.
Stunt Race FX was an SNES stuff, right?
One of the first games of the Super FX chip.
Yeah,
But then again, I think
that's pretty fun.
again, didn't Shigeru have a hand in the race and weird shit like that? I want to say Yoshi's Cookie really bad.
He had his dick in a lot of games. Waters.
You know, I'm gonna take a risk here. With you said Stunt FX, right?
So race effects.
I'm gonna say Yoshi's Cookie because I'm weird.
Risking it all, huh?
I'm gonna risk it all.
Wow.
It's Yoshi's Cookie.
Fuck you. Is it really Yoshi's
It
Cookie?
had absolutely nothing to do with Yoshi's Cookie.
Yes,
You know,
Mom.
He did
Speaking of-
Yoshi.
Well done.
He was
Thank you, Mr. Chan.
He was the
Thank you.
producer of
Yeah.
the other 3 games.
Wait, did you know that GameStop in the mall has a copy of Yoshi's Cookie on the NES?
Yeah, that's pretty
It's
cool.
been sitting there for a while.
Oh, has it? Wow.
You know how I
Oh,
could
nice.
tell, like, I'm gonna look this up in real time here.
You can actually look that up.
Look what?
Like inventory?
No.
Oh, I was gonna be like. how
But
do
you know how I could tell? Because that artwork of Yoshi is totally whack as fuck.
No, that's what he looked like back then.
What?
That was from Super
Yeah.
Mario World.
He looks like that. in
Really?
Mario World.
Yes.
Because that seems whack as fuck.
Wait, compared to what does he look like now then?
Well, he's a
I don't
little
understand.
exaggerated here, but that's the way he was in all the artwork back then.
To me, that's what Yoshi
Bring him
looks
up-
like in
Bring
general.
him up on Yoshi for NES. Because that was the first one.
That's what Yoshi looks like to me always.
No, but
What
see,
do you
like
mean?
that's a little different though. Like that to me looks different. Like
What is
maybe
this?
it doesn't. I don't
Yeah,
know.
see? No, you realize it now because you're looking back at it. Anyway, hey,
That totally looks different. He has smaller eyes and everything. Whatever.
Matt wins
I got it.
QUIZTACULAR.
He's gonna
He
be
has
wearing
10
the championship
points.
pants.
So unless we come up with some weird way for Teddy to score fucking
Just
8
100
points
points.
next week.
Dave is your only hope.
Dave will be with us next week. He's contractually obligated.
The puppet.
The puppet, he'll be sitting on my lap.
All
It's Game of the Year watch next week. We're going to be talking about our runners up and our Game of the Year. We will bring it. It's going to be awesome.
Dave is inevitably gonna say,
He's gonna say
Horizon
spoiler.
HDD.
Spoiler,
Zero Dawn?
is Horizon Zero Dawn, which is a stupid title
It's
of
really
a game, but a good game apparently.
It is actually.
Um,
Wait. Who's played Horizon Zero Dawn?
I just played the intro last night.
I played like 4 hours of it.
I just bought it on sale too for $20. So
Yeah.
I got it with that.
Apparently it's phenomenal, but
The first
The
4
problem-
hours it was pretty meh, in my opinion.
the problem with that game is that it's so similar to Breath of the Wild, and it came out like within 2 weeks of
It
Breath
was,
of the Wild,
yeah, it was
sure.
like within a 2 weeks.
So I got buried.
and Breath of the Wild is
Far
an
superior.
all-time great. So,
Debatably the GOAT.
well, we'll debate that next week, and,
Unlike Roman Reigns.
and we will have Game of the Year watch next week. Thanks for watching.
Keep it frosty, motherfuckers.
Keep it Chinese, assholes.